Good day everyone, and this is Sir J.M. Panocho for Reading Experts. I know that our country is facing this big health threat due to the novel coronavirus. And usually this time is devoted to our trainings and seminars as educators to better equip ourselves in diagnosing and remediating our remedial readers. But with the present condition of our country, we cannot do that for now. But I am really hoping that through this channel, Reading Experts, you'll still continue to learn from the comfort of your own homes. And again, this particular presentation is still part of Reading Miscue, a cue to reading success. So in the previous part of this presentation, I shared with you about a particular reading miscue, which is reading omission with a bonus of reading repetition. So I shared about their characteristics or symptoms, their causes, the annotation you'll make if the child commits this error, and the remedial techniques to help the child overcome his or her reading omissions and reading repetitions. So in this particular episode, I will be sharing with you about another reading miscue, which is reading substitution. And I have this big question. Is reading substitution a good thing or a bad thing? So just like reading omission, in reading substitution, I also included reading repetition for the same reason that they share common symptoms and common remedial techniques. So how do we spot a child committing reading substitution error? So a child commits this kind of error whenever he or she substitutes one word for another. And these are the following causes of reading substitutions: careless reading, underdeveloped word recognition skills, reading within context, or reading with inappropriate context. And you have to take note that substitution error is a real word, while mispronunciation is a nonsense word. For example, this is a substitution error when a child reads automobile as car. It becomes mispronunciation error if the child reads deaf as diff. Allow me to explain further the causes of reading substitution. Let's start with careless reading. Careless reading is usually attributed to lack of oral reading practice. And then, a child may also commit reading substitution whenever he or she lacks time. So this is due to time constraints that the child needs to read very fast. And another factor could be the child is suffering from anxiety or any other emotional disturbances. So all of these factors can actually contribute to the child's reading substitution error. Another factor that can cause reading substitution error is the underdeveloped word recognition skill. So if you notice, my fellow reading advocates, if the child commits word by word reading error and omission error, these two also boil down to poor word recognition skill. And now that we are discussing about reading substitution error, still it is one of the reasons why the child commits this kind of error. So it is very important that we put premium on word recognition skills in our remedial classes, because if we don't, the child will suffer from different kinds of reading problems. Remember earlier I asked you if reading substitution is a good thing or a bad thing? Now, let me explain to you that some of our readers are top-down readers, meaning to say they have the meanings in their mind, they have these collection of words already in their mind that are also based from their experience. And when they read, they use these meanings in their mind already. So this can be one of the factors that can cause them to substitute a word. But the good thing about this, the word that they use to substitute is within the context of the text. Just like, for example, when a child reads automobile as car, then the child is reading within context. We also have such thing as collocations. Collocations are actually words that usually go together. Now, with over-familiarism with collocations, it can be one of the factors that can lead a child to reading substitution. But the danger of this is that when the child reads and substitutes a word because of collocations, sometimes they do not match with the meanings that are implied in the text. So in this kind of scenario, substitution here is a bad thing. To annotate the substitution error of the child, underline the text and write the substituted word above it. Count as one error every substitution. The following are the recommendations for reading remediation for a child that commits substitution errors. First, make the flashcards of words which cause difficulty. Ask the child to keep a file of these words. So as a remedial teacher, you have to be keen in observing which words cause difficulty to the child, and this will be your target words for your succeeding sessions. Next, work on the beginning syllables and or sounds that cause difficulty. It can also be the beginning sound or the initial sound, the medial sound, or the final sound. Another example that you can follow is to use the difficult words in multiple choice sentence. So I would like to give another caveat on this. If we work for word recognition, we should not also neglect reading these words in context or reading these words in sentences, because the natural tendency of the child who is overexposed to word recognition practice is that he or she cannot read fluently these words when they are now in sentences or phrases. So it is important that during our practice or remediation for word recognition, we use these words in context or in sentences. For example, John's father gave him watch, which, or water for his birthday. Then ask the child to repeat or to reread the sentence himself. If you have found out that the cause of the reading substitution of the child is careless reading, these are the following recommendations for reading remediation. Call the attention to the mistake and correct it when it occurs. Have the pupils choral read if the remedial program is in groups. Have the pupils read along with a passage that has been tape recorded. You can also ask questions about the subject matter which will reflect the pupil's mistakes. Have him read to make corrections. Students under pressure read rapidly. I explained this already earlier. So stop them and remind them that it is not necessary for him or for her to read faster than usual. So my fellow reading experts, those are the symptoms or the characteristics, causes, and remedial techniques for reading substitution error. So far in this presentation, Reading Miscue, A Cue to Reading Success, we have tackled 3 reading miscues, and these are word by word reading, reading omissions, and today, reading substitution error. And for our next presentation, we will be discussing about reading insertions. So I hope that you will stay tuned to my channel. For those who have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe and share. See ya!